Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Thursday again. I'm here, and my friend Betty's coming in town tonight. I'm so excited. We're gonna have a blast, and we will be doing multiple videos together, or at least a couple. Um, she just had a huge podcast episode come out on Next Level, so I'll share it in the description today in case you want to watch it. I'm really proud to be her friend. I'm really proud of her, and she inspires me all the time because I get super scared to do this kind of stuff. I mean, it's getting easier. But anyway, this is what I want to talk about today. I hope everyone's doing okay. I am going to talk about how spirituality is not exceptional. And this is similar to what I wrote my Substack about last Friday, which was that your spiritual experiences are beautiful. And I think I probably already did a video about this recently. I can't remember sometimes. I mean, I could really talk about this stuff for a long time, but after a while, there's not like it's just the same stuff. Um, okay, so I'm thinking about this because I just read a New York Magazine article, and it was like about New Age women and their politics. And I was thinking, but it was about that cult, the cult of Mother God, I think. And it just got me thinking. I didn't read it too deeply because that kind of stuff makes me kind of bummed that that happens. But I was thinking about how I think our history as humans has said, like, if you have spiritual experience, you're different than everyone else, or you're special, you're exceptional, or you're crazy. I mean, or schizophrenic, but it's like you're set apart. So I guess it depends on who you're talking to. Um, but there is like that feeling like, oh, only certain people get to have these experiences, and everyone else is just going to have to ask them what's going on. And I think I've seen that in religion, and I've seen that in like the experiencer community, I guess. And I mean, there are people that I'm like, wow, I would really trust their guidance. But you have to trust your own guidance first. Spirituality is not exceptional. It's an inborn part of all of us. And we each have the still small voice. We each have wisdom and knowing, and it comes up in different ways. Sometimes it's like much brighter and louder um, for some people, and sometimes it's in a like quieter, but it's all fine. And you don't, sorry, you don't put spiritual people on a pedestal. And also, that's just what I was thinking about. Um, Now, there's the other side of that. Well, don't put me on a pedestal. As you know, I'm just a human. I love to do readings and healings for people, which I'm now calling sacred soul sessions, all combined. But I really was surprised when I had my spiritual experience, and I thought I was going crazy. And also, part of me thought it happened to everyone. So, like, maybe it will happen to everyone. That's kind of my hope because I like having friends. Um, okay. So, yes. People who have spiritual experiences, don't put them on a pedestal. Trust your own wisdom first. And if someone can help you, like me or another awesome healer that you trust, it's like, yeah, we can all help each other on the path. I still go get sessions from people, and I love to hear people's wisdom, even though I do all this stuff too. Um, but I'm not any more or less connected. I don't think. I think we're all connected, and some of us just kind of go deeper into it, and some of us don't. But maybe all of us will. I don't know. And the other one was on the other flip side of that is people who have spiritual experiences and then think they're totally nuts. So it's interesting reading this article briefly that I briefly like perused. Um, I mean, it didn't really seem like they talked to anyone who'd had spiritual experiences. I think there's like an intellectual framework of how like mainstream media and society approaches spiritual people. Like, oh, they're weird, they're wacky, they're trying to get your money. And that does happen, so I'm not like judging, but I also think if I think once you've had a spiritual experience, it's just a very different approach because you know what they're like. And most people who I know who work with me or that I've met were like me, like you have a spiritual experience and you think you're nuts and you don't tell anyone about it and you try to cover it up. Um, and maybe that's where the blessing is, honestly, because the people that have them and they're like, hey, I had a spiritual experience, pay me a bunch of money. I promise I'm not doing that. Don't pay me a bunch of money. I do have to pay bills though. Um, Yeah, so maybe there's a lot of us and y'all. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Like, I have a fair amount of people that come to me and say, no one knows this about me. I've seen angels, I've seen archangels. Like, these are professionals, regular people, grandmas, psychic dreams, seeing angels, having visions, and no one knows it. I can't tell you how many people have, and I'm honored. I'm like 100% honored. It's one of the best reasons for me to put myself out there and like really I just gave up on having a reputation as a smart person, kind of. No, I'm still smart. I get to hear all these people's stories that are like they feel very closeted about it, and I think that's maybe that's where the little like the nice little edge is that there's a balance between having these spiritual experiences and going like way out with the ego, or like having them and keeping them quiet because you don't want to be judged. I guess in a way it's both ego but not really. I'm not going to say I was really, really embarrassed about my spiritual experience. And it makes me even more embarrassed to now talk about it and find out people want those kind of experiences. And I was trying to make it stop and well, not during it, but it was so beautiful, but I was like not as appreciative as I think I could have been. Anyway, um, I guess there's a balance between putting yourself out there and like saying you know more than other people or like keeping it hidden and saying I don't want anyone to know this about me. I think there's a fine line in the middle. So if I can help you find it, I'm really glad. That's the topic of the day. I don't know much more about those cults, but I do think it's easy. That's sorry, my nose is itching. I think it's really easy. Part of the spiritual path is deconstructing your ego or like looking at it where are your wounds. I've had to look at where my wounds are and like where I feel unworthy because that's the part of me that would like to say, I know more, which I don't do, obviously, because I've had to, like, before I started sharing, I had to spend not just time deciding my experience was real and integrating it, like knowing that these is really for everyone. Um, and I think I always try to model myself after Christ. I'm not trying to do that every time, but like, can I wash everyone's feet? If I'm at the level of washing everyone's feet, I mean, then that's powerful. I'm not gonna try to stand up and say anything more than that. But I do think it's easy. I think we want to find someone outside of us to tell us what to do, or we want to find someone that seems like they know more than us because it's easier. I think we can use other people as models, and I've helped you. I'm really thankful. I know other people have helped me a ton, but really you have that wisdom too for yourself. Your soul is sacred. Your soul comes from source, the creator. And like, yeah, it's easy to want to put people on a pedestal. I felt it a little bit after my most recent big interview came out, which is still Wisdom from North. It's still the biggest one I've ever done. I'm gearing up to try to do some other ones, but it was kind of scary for me. But like, yeah, I think there's a tendency. I felt a little bit of that tendency of people to want to put me on a pedestal. Honestly, I think my stepdad and the shaman did that to me a little bit too. But I didn't know what I was doing. And I think they thought I knew more than I did. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm just so light. Like, I don't know what's happening. And I was just a 26-year-old person that maybe was, I didn't know as much as maybe I could have. I wasn't mature. I wasn't that mature to be having these spiritual experiences. So, but I know they didn't put me too much on a pedestal, but I do think my stepdad might have assumed I was a wiser person than I was. I was only like, I'm 26-year-old, 27-year-old. Anyway, thank you for listening to my blabbing. The point of this is don't put spiritual people on a pedestal, but if you have spiritual gifts and knowing, you could come share it with us and it would be cool. And there's that fine balance in the middle. If you have any thoughts about cults, Mother God cult, or like how we put people on a pedestal, I know it happens in the spiritual world. And I think I probably have done that too, but not to the level of losing my own heart. Because thankfully, our hearts are perfect and beautiful, and so is yours. And you're perfect and beautiful already. You have all this wisdom inside too. If I can remind you of that this week, I'm thankful. Stay tuned for videos of me and Betty blobbing. Hope in the next few days. Okay. Love y'all. Bye.